Come on, man.
Hey guys.
It's just a plant.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Here at the Swamp, get ready to beat LSU. Y'all tune in to Rule Number 1 podcast on Monday.
And we are back. Episode 16. Man, we got a good one lined up for you tonight here on the Rule 1 podcast, partner.
Yeah, we are absolutely super excited for this next guest, but we want to hit on a couple things before we get into him.
Yes.
So we just had our first Coop night, which was a great environment, had a blast, and we put on a live podcast for you guys, and kind of a live Q&A.
And thank you for everybody that came out. Shocked us.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And then this coming Saturday, we had a fantastic opportunity.
Huge.
We are going to be in front of several thousand people on a live stage. It's a barbecue event that helps support the KT Foundation.
Yes, sir.
And it goes to a great cause. So basically it's just a big barbecue competition. We're going to be out there. Some couple radio stations will be there, and so it's going to be a great opportunity for us. So if y'all want to come on by, it's in downtown Lake Wales.
We'll be on the main stage at 11 to 12:30 is our time slot. Yeah. We're looking forward to it tonight, or this weekend. But without further ado, our first guest, a little backstory on this guy. I went up to Savannah, Georgia not too long ago, and I wanted to kind of explore the town. Me and my girlfriend got up there pretty early our first day, and we explored downtown. And we found this little building called the SCAD Art and History Museum. And inside, it's just part of the Savannah College of Art and Design. It's all their, cool, t-shirt graphics store. And they had all kinds of cool, memorabilia in the back, all interactive things. And I just couldn't leave there without trying to, find somebody in this cool, unique place to interview. So I went up to a group of art students and I asked, I was like, do you guys know anybody who would like to, participate in a podcast that I put on? We try to find the extraordinary and the ordinary person. And a group of these people all pointed at the front desk. And at the front desk was this young man. He was loud. He was talking to everybody coming in and out of, the museum. And I was like, that's our guy. So without further ado, our first guest of 2023 is Aditya Khemlani from Savannah, Georgia.
Hello, what's up? Yes, that's me, Aditya Khemlani from Savannah, Georgia. And yes, I'm here now on the Rule 1 podcast. And I'm very glad to be here, honestly, just because, out of nowhere, I got this opportunity and then suddenly, bam, I'm on a podcast. And this is as much as a surprise to me. So I'm just glad to be here, guys. Honestly, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's crazy. No matter, where you are, you could just be going to have a conversation and one day you have opportunities. We got the opportunity to have you on and it's kind of cool. You were just doing your normal job or whatever and got this awesome opportunity to come on a podcast. So we're super excited.
Yeah, man. So a little bit about yourself. You are a performing arts major. You attend SCAD University. And what threw me off, what you told me, is you are not from this country.
Nope, not at all. I am not from this country at all. Now,
and your English is
a lot
great.
Of people. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people seem to think that I'm from LA or somewhere from the West. They seem to think I'm from California or whatever. But no, I am indeed from Jakarta, Indonesia, which is a 28-hour flight away from here, 12-hour difference. It's a totally different environment. And I've been in America for, I think, a year plus now, maybe a year and 4 months, a year and 5 months. Took my first year in SCAD online, but then my sophomore year, I decided to come to America and finally take my classes on the ground. And now I'm here against all odds.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's awesome to kind of hear your story to come over here. I am going to tell on myself a little bit. I've heard of Indonesia a lot or whatever, but honestly, I was like, where is Indonesia? And I've heard of it obviously, but I didn't know exactly on the map where it was. So for viewers that don't know, it's close to Australia and Japan, correct?
Yes. Well, Australia is right here. Well, to the people who are listening on Spotify, Australia is to the bottom right. I'll describe it better. To the bottom right, Indonesia is to the top left of Australia. If you keep going up a bit, there's Japan right there. But the closest thing I could put it to is Singapore.
Man,
okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. We actually had a listener from Singapore.
Yeah.
We were looking on our analytics, which was kind of cool.
Kind of threw me off a little bit.
Huh?
Yeah. So, man, I kind of want to get your story because, we encourage all of our guests to, follow their dreams. And where you are at right now, SCAD, like that is pretty big time. I was telling my partner here when I was in the museum, I was actually opening up these interactive like monitor drawers. And one of them was a Super Bowl graphic from Super Bowl 50, Peyton Manning and Russell Wilson going back and forth at it. And it was designed by a SCAD student. Like this place, this institution puts out some, big names and some big high places. And our partner right here, he's going places. Yeah. But can you like kind of tell us how you ended up at SCAD? I mean, Savannah, Georgia is a very long way from Indonesia.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like especially in Savannah, Georgia, it's just like I didn't even know where Savannah was, to be honest, before I heard of SCAD. In my head, I was like, Savannah is like the open plains. It's to describe a place. It's not a city.
Right.
But yeah, but I mean, I guess it is a place. And I first found out about SCAD throughout through my high school, rather. There was a little kind of college fair. A bunch of other colleges came to my high school and tried to, promote them to be like, hey, we're colleges from here, from Netherlands, from Exeter, Australia, from Canada, yada, 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 Japan, everywhere. Came from everywhere. And I was so interested. I was like, wow, I need to find some place to go to college. And I really do want to go to college because it's something that I want to experience after high school. So I kept looking through all these little booths, but none of them really stuck out to me. None of them had anything special. All of them were just, the basic stuff. And wasn't that interesting until I saw this one booth that was, I'm pretty sure it was yellow and black, which is, colors of a bee, which is our mascot, SCAD bees, But, a little on the nose, but you have to be to market to other people.
Yeah.
Right.
But I saw this yellow and black stand, and I was like, I wonder what that is. I walk up to it, I see SCAD, and I look at all like the infographics, like the statistics, everything for SCAD. And what stuck out to me was that they had a performing arts major. And now in many other places in like the college fair, I didn't find any performing arts stuff at all. Maybe like, you could take a theater minor, but it's like, I don't want to do that. But in SCAD, they specifically focus on performing arts and, acting. And not only that, it branches out to so much other paths. So when I saw that, I was like, you know what? Sign me up. And throughout that entire other fair, my dad was like, okay, I know you like SCAD. Find some backups, just in case you don't make it in SCAD. And I did not find any backups, by the way.
You sold out. You sold out for it.
I was like,
that's what you got to do for your dream, man.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I love that story because you have this cool opportunity to come to the United States. Tell us a little bit about, that process from like leaving your home country, coming all over here, just this,
move, man. Like you moved across the globe.
Oh yeah, I mean it was certainly a move. I mean, to be fair, my dad did go to college in the States. I think he went to UCLA.
Oh, okay.
UCLA, I think. Okay. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so my dad and my uncle went to UCLA, so they do know a lot about the US, but I've been here only as like a kid, and I wouldn't count that because I'm like 5 years old. All I remember is like, wow, Disney World. Ah! Yeah. That's all I remember in my brain. But coming to the US, I had to learn a lot of things. I had to learn how to use some of the lingo, learn how to like talk to people. And I'll be honest, like the coming here, it was the coming here process was pretty easy. Just I had to wait for COVID. I had to make sure that I was all safe, but the convincing to come to America was a bit hard because not only did I want to go to America, which is expensive, but I also want to take performing arts, which traditionally is, it's not a very secure job. I will say that much because, you have to be very lucky in performing arts. And my dad was like, hey, wait, hold on. Don't you want to like go towards something more safe, like, business or like film business? And I'm like, as much as I'm interested in film, I am a film minor, but I do have my heart set for performing arts. And it did take a while to convince my father, but by the end of it, he was very supportive. And I, thank him a lot for that because took a lot of convincing, but by the end, he was just very nice about all of it. And he was like, you know what? I can see you're passionate about this. I think you're ready enough to go to America. And coming here, I mean, after I convinced him, it was just like that. I had to work hard for my scholarship, got the scholarship. I was lucky enough to be able to come here, and now I've been making it. I even have like a job on my own.
Yeah.
Sort of, yes. And then I've been making it work, So the process was pretty hard, but not for the moving, just simply for the convincing.
Yeah.
But of course, I'm still getting accustomed to everything in America. I'm still finding out new words here and there, finding out new mannerisms. My friends will point me out and be like, "Why did you do that? Why did you say that?" And I'm like, I don't know. I thought that was like the thing here.
You're in a pretty unique place, SCAD. You keep going back to it, and Savannah itself is beautiful. Like I saw all the ins and outs of it, and I saw SCAD's campus. Man, I envy you. Where we went to school, dog, it don't even compare to SCAD, and like. That school is very prestigious for its performance arts majors. So how does that kind of differ, from the traditional, United States college? Like me and Smothers I went for a communications degree. He got an agricultural degree. How does a performance arts major kind of, differ from those things?
I think the big thing in the States that I looked into, I looked into a lot of colleges in the States before I was actually set on SCAD. Again, I didn't apply for any of them to be fair. Like I said, I didn't fall back on anything, but I signed up for SCAD. But when I was researching, a lot of the other colleges, they didn't really have the kick I was looking for, because I saw all the other colleges, they were like, theater, very focused on theater, on the stage, Broadway, you'll be walking down like Hamilton is like, I want to sing, that kind of thing. So it's like, I'm looking at it. I mean, that's pretty cool, but I don't want to be constricted to one type of performance. And of course, I know that just you take that degree and you can go many places, but I didn't want to be constricted to that one. So when I saw SCAD and how broad their studies were, even with just performing arts, it really did intrigue me. And the amount of connections SCAD had, I was almost going to go to NYFA. But when I looked at NYFA, it's just like, it's just one building. And as beautiful as New York is, I wouldn't have gotten the college experience,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And no shade to NYFA. Of course, I'm sure they have some fantastic, courses and graduates, but just wasn't for me. And I decided that I looked at SCAD, I had the tour, looked around, researched more, and I was like, this place really does feel like it's for me.
Sweet.
That's awesome. You talked a little bit about how broad the performing arts major is. Do you have a specific thing that you're kind of trying to work towards, like a future career in performing arts? Or have you specialized or anything, or want to specialize in something?
Oh, definitely. I mean, like specialization, I feel like I've found my thing for performing arts, at least. I really do want to be focused on acting for film, acting for the camera specifically. And of course, there's a difference from acting from the stage, acting from the film, and acting for the camera. But I do want to focus on acting for the camera, and also specifically voice acting. Voice acting is extremely fun, and I've seen like so much people do it. And like every time I watch an animated show or like I play a game, sometimes it's just like it'll just stick out how like intense the voice lines are, how much they can like convey the message, and I'm just like, wow, it's just fantastic. Truly, it's like how they can convey these emotions just through their voice.
And man, there's always a need for them too. If you think about it, every commercial has a voice actor. Every cartoon out there, every anime or fictional animation movie, there's a need for them. And I can't believe there's a place out there like SCAD, that has that opportunity to somebody like Aditya here that wants to go into something like that. I guarantee people around here where we're from, man, would never think of that. Never in 100 years. And, I dang sure didn't think about SCAD, looking back at my interest post athletics and, a place that would have truly fit me and what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Hell, I probably would have been a SCAD B, to be honest, because that place is just, it's built for this kind of, industry. This is what it puts out. And that's really cool. I'm so glad that you're on, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just fantastic. I'm glad, genuinely. It's just wow.
Yeah, I feel like that career is very much swept under the rug, or not like a lot of people know about it, which is cool that that's kind of what your passion is. Is there any specific voice actors? Because honestly, I'm not aware of any. Are there any specific voice actors that you look up to or find as like a role model?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think that I'm sure this is a big name that everyone knows. Mark Hamill. Yeah, fantastic voice. Mark Hamill. I told this to a lot of my friends, but apparently they don't know. Mark Hamill was the voice of the Joker for like 15 plus years. He was like the original.
Cool.
He was the original like Joker voice. He was like, "Hey, Betsy," and like that kind of thing. and like it just like the range that his voice can go towards is amazing. And another voice actor that I really love, who's been up and coming recently. Well, he's been up and coming for the past few years. He's very famous, but his name is Gianni Matrigano. Hope I'm saying his last name right. But he has a fantastic range of voice. He voices, his voice has so much intensity to it, and he can voice so much different like characters, specifically in video games. He has a bunch of history in video games, and he's done really well in just making his voice be known out there. It's just widespread, and you could hear a voice and you could be like, huh, that's a very different voice. And then you look him up and it's like, that's him? He can do this type of voice too. And that's also what I want to achieve, just like, I want people to listen to my normal talking voice, and then I'll show them like a voice I've done, and they'll be like, no way in hell, that's you.
I want to hear one. Can you give me, give me an example?
Yeah. A little
like,
snippet.
yeah. Like, you got any lines that you can do off the top?
I mean, like a general party trick. Well, not party trick, but like a general thing that I do to people when they ask me like, "Oh, do you know any voices?" Is I know Roz from Monsters Inc., the slug lady.
No, I don't hear it.
Yeah, but that's like a simple one, because all you need to do is like, Mike Wazowski, you haven't filed your paperwork this morning. Remember, I'm always watching, Wazowski. Always watching.
Dude, that's spot on.
That was pretty good.
Always like that. It's so
that's a unique party trick.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, you have these role models, and I want to go back to the SCAD before we get into, your post-grad plans, because you're only a junior, correct?
Yeah. Only a junior. Just starting my junior year.
I hope, best of luck. You're going to finish college. You're going to do great things. But like the coursework at SCAD, you mentioned to me a couple days ago that, that you had to take like art classes or something along those lines like that.
Oh yeah. Yes. So basically in SCAD, of course I can go for my major, but as of all classes, I need to do general classes, which makes sense. Like any college does. And I took a bunch of general classes. I think one of the easiest ones for me at that time was the general math class, because I was just flying by. The only pain that math class put on me was I had to buy a $90 like book.
You probably didn't
Not only was it like, it wasn't a physical book at all too. It was a online copy. It was $90, and the reason it was $90 is because all the worksheets were on that book. So I literally could not have gotten it any other way. I had to buy it from the official website, and I was like, I'm spending $90 to do like like math that I did in like high school. But I think one of the most painful ones for me was color theory. Now in SCAD we have design classes, design 1, 2, 3 to 4. Most of them were pretty okay. Some of them were harder than others, but the hardest one for me was design 101, color theory. Now the reason for this is I'm colorblind. And in color theory, they make you not only like paint, but also analyze colors, color grids, color stuff, like everything. And so the professor will be like, oh, choose a color and go to the lighter tones of it or the darker tones of it and the hues and all that stuff. And I'm like looking at it like, this is all yellow. This is all yellow. I don't
Oh my gosh.
Did you pass?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I got a B, which is it's a passing grade. Better than a C.
Oh my gosh, dude. There's been major classes that I've had that are like I've enjoyed that I've pulled like a C+.
To be fair, I owe that B to my mom because while I was in that class, again, this specific class was asynchronous, which means that all I need to do was submit the work. I didn't actually have to be in the lectures. So whenever I would be doing work, I just walk up to my mom and I'd be like, "Hey, mom, this is purple, right? What do you do to make purple again?" And of course, if you ask me like what color to make what color, like I would very much know. It's like red, yellow makes orange. I could tell you that in a heartbeat. But the making process of it for a colorblind person, you'll be looking at a color and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, red and yellow." And then like my mom will walk past me and be like, "You mixed red and green." And I'm like, like,
there's nothing you can do.
I genuinely had to be like, "So this is purple, right? This is purple. This is like violet. This is a sky purple." And she's like, yes. She like make sure everything was okay. And
gosh, that's so hard.
Have you ever tried about looking into the colorblind glasses?
Ooh, yes. My friends always love to make fun of me or like make a bit where if I ever did buy the colorblind glasses, what they would do is like they would record me. They would record me putting on the colorblind glasses. Like, you know those like overhyped videos on YouTube?
Yeah.
I saw color for the first time. But like I wanted to do a bit where I would put on the colorblind glasses, but then the camera would turn and all of them would be crying and they'd be like, "Oh my God, he's seeing color for the first time." And like my friends would be crying instead of like me. And I'd just be like, "Whoa, damn, that's green. That's so cool."
That's awesome.
TikTok ideas everywhere.
Exactly. That would be something that I would think of and be like, plot twist.
Yeah, really. You know, you're set to graduate next year, right? It's a junior.
Yeah.
Okay.
2024. Yeah.
So let's kind of get into that. What's your plans post grad after SCAD?
Ooh. Well, I mean, I've been talking this a lot with my friends and family because, post grad is always something you got to think about. A lot of my friends, they're taking courses in London and Singapore. And in those courses, it's like 3-year college instead of 4 years. So they're already thinking about their post grad. And I'm still thinking about it because I have options back home. I've been in a few movies and shows back home, thanks to the help of some of my colleagues who like gotten me through it, and of course connections. It's just I mean I have opportunities. I've been extras in shows. I've been an extra in a movie. It was very fun to do.
Wait, yeah.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. You can't just breeze.
Yeah, what?
Oh, sorry. I mean, like, just brush it on my shoulder. I've been an extra in a movie.
That's a pretty big deal for us. Yeah, that's cool.
So whenever, like, describe the extra. Is that basically like a crowd person? Like you're in the crowd, or like?
Yeah. So an extra is basically, like you're in the background. You're like, maybe if you're lucky, you'll have like one speaking line. You'll appear for like 5 seconds, and you'll appear never.
Like here's your coffee or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, "Here's your coffee, sir." Or like, you're on like you're like Star Trek and like, "Sir, the tractor beam isn't working," and then like you never show up again. Yeah. But I was in this movie, Indonesian. It's called Bebas, but in English it's called Glorious Days. I think Glorious Days or Glory Days in English.
Mm-hmm.
But me and 4 other of my friends, we managed to become extras in this movie, and they gave me a speaking line, which it was one line I passed by, and the only line I said was, "Hi, Joe." That's it.
What a line.
Yeah. That's cool though. Like,
that's very cool.
You've been on the silver screen, bud.
Yeah, exactly. They took us to the premiere, and when that line popped up, me and all my friends were like, "Yay, hey, that's me."
That's so cool. But that's like, it's really cool to put on like a resume or something.
Yeah.
Like you're applying for a job. I was like, yeah, actually, I was in this movie. You don't have to say you weren't the lead role. Like,
and you had a speaking part too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you nailed it. Hi, Joe.
Exactly. Hi, Joe. And just this summer, I was lucky enough to be in another show. It's called, I just got the clip a few weeks ago, but it's called Jingga dan Senja. I don't know what the English translation is, but I mean,
hey, man.
I'm sure if you guys typed it out, you'll find it somewhere. But I have a clip of me. So it's like this high school show, kind of like a soap opera. Mm-hmm. And I walk down the stairs, I talk to the main character, and I'm like, "Hey man, thanks for letting me cheat on the test. Thanks for letting me look at your answers. You want me to buy you some food?" And then he's like, "No, man, maybe next time." And then I say, "All right, cool. I'll see you then." That's it.
So hey, that sounds like you have a next time though.
Yeah, for real.
You might get a call back. It might.
Yeah, that's like what, four lines, 3 lines.
Yeah,
yeah, but you could be on like next season, be like, hey, it's time to
bring this guy in. He might become a character.
Yeah, he might.
Maybe.
Maybe they have like some specific ideas for that lunch that they haven't played out yet.
Yeah, maybe,
so cool,
if I'm lucky.
So go ahead.
You mentioned a little bit about having different colleges in like Singapore and some of your friends go in there. Are there other colleges in Indonesia? Is college a big thing over there, or do most people go out of country to go?
Oh yeah, I mean, like college is a big thing in Indonesia. I mean, we have a lot of fantastic colleges, and we have UI, Universitas Indonesia, which translates to University of Indonesia. Yeah. Very simple language. That's one of the big ones. We also have UGM, which is University of Gajah Mada. Gajah Mada is like a dynasty, but I think it's also a place. But the place is in Yogyakarta, which is not Jakarta, Yogyakarta, which is like an 8-hour drive.
It's kind of like
it's like Kansas and Arkansas. Sorry, Arkansas.
There you go.
Yeah, he gets the jokes.
Yeah,
he gets the jokes.
I get the joke.
I'm so surprised.
But yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I just wanted to continue about how there are a bunch of colleges in Indonesia, a bunch of good ones at that, and even if I did go to college in Indonesia, I'd be very well off, just, not in the major that I would be specifically interested in, because, most of the colleges in Indonesia are more centered towards business, there's some fashion. Some of my friends go to the University of Indonesia, take some fashion marketing, which still relates to business, but, business, being lawyer, doctor, et cetera,
Yeah, the high paying
Yeah.
I'm still so shocked how great your English is, because you understand, we played baseball with a lot of guys from the Dominican Republic, and so obviously they speak Spanish, but and they speak a lot of broken English, but your English is fantastic, and you understand a lot of the slang say, or the little snippets or whatever. I'm very, very impressed. The more and more I keep listening to you, but.
Oh, he's nailing it.
Yeah, well, I mean, actually, it's here's a fun fact that I tell all my American friends. I actually picked up English from The Big Bang Theory.
No way! I love that show, dude.
Yeah. So basically, the backstory of it is, when I was a kid, my dad, he would turn on The Big Bang Theory. And I think I was either maybe 7 or 8. I don't know when The Big Bang Theory first aired, but I think he was watching the first few seasons, maybe season 1, season 2. He would watch it on the couch. And my dad, he spoke pretty good. He's a perfect, almost pretty perfect English, because he went to college here in America. Mm-hmm. So I would just walk by the living room. He'd be watching it, and I'd just be like, you know what, screw it. I'll sit down and watch as a 7-year-old. I'm bored. We didn't have iPads back then. Well, the best we had was a BlackBerry phone.
Yeah.
So I just sit down and watch with my dad, and I'd just be just watching, and I'd listen to Sheldon talk, and I'd be like, Bazinga. Bazinga.
Yeah. That's awesome. Dude, I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't do something like that.
Yeah, we had a buddy in college. He's from Colombia as well, and he told us that how he learned English was watching Friends and listening to Motley Crue, rock band.
Yep.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That related to me whenever you said that.
So, Aditya, sorry. What is your what's your dream company? If you could go work for any company, post grad, voice acting or on film, where's your heart going?
Well, to put it frankly, I mean, I got simple answer to that. For film specifically, I've been looking at A24, and I know a lot of people will be watching this as oh, it's cliche, A24, they make the artsy movies, but genuinely, a lot of A24 movies have been really great, especially, I'm sure most of you guys have seen this. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Oof.
I think maybe.
I don't think I remember that one.
Me and my girlfriend's made me watch it a time or two.
That movie moves you. Mainly because I watched it in the theaters, and I watched it 2 times. The first time, everyone in the theater cried. But keep in mind, this first time I watched with a bunch of my Asian friends. and the main character is Michelle Yeoh, fantastic actress, and it's centered around an Asian family. Now, second time I watched it with my American friends. They walked out. They said it was really good. None of them cried. I noticed, mainly because it showcases, how Asian families work, and it's just like it's so universal towards like Asia. It's just like, wow, this is exactly like how it works in my family too. So it's like, it just hits you from every angle, right. And it's like, wow.
And it's different. You don't really think about movies and stuff like that, The dynamics around the world are a lot different. The United States, pretty much the wild, wild west of the world, I feel like sometimes. And, all these cultures around the world are centered around different things. Like, I can guarantee you will 100% agree with me that Indonesia is a totally different animal than the United States.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, like, it's kind of cool that, people are out there, I'm going to make a movie about this heritage and focus on this.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was like,
could you give us...
Sorry, go ahead.
Could you give us some of the difference between Indonesia and the United States to kind of put it in perspective?
Yeah. In perspective, I mean, the closest thing you could get to Jakarta, the city that I'm from, I would say New York, I guess. I mean, that's the closest thing I could get. The closest thing I could get, skyscrapers everywhere. You got the hustle and bustle of the city. Mm-hmm. I think the main difference is in America, you guys have insanely big freeways with like 6 lanes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like in the freeway in my country. Of course, we have freeways and they're pretty big too. But like even in the streets, it's like, 2 lanes. You go back and front. And another main difference is, driving. You have the usual left and right. Of course, you guys drive on the left side. Yeah. We drive on the right side. But in Indonesia, we have more motorcycles than we do have cars, and it's really great because motorcycles, what they can do is they can slip in between cars when it's traffic. So they just go like, you got like a big line of cars. What motorcycles do? You slip in between. Just whoop, 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 go through.
Sounds like the place for you, Smo.
Yeah, no, I really want to bike. Have you driven a motorcycle before, or do you have one over there?
Oh yeah, I have. I mean, I don't have a motorcycle myself, but I definitely have driven a motorcycle, and it's pretty easy. Well, to be fair, I think when I mentioned motorcycle, the first thing that comes into people's minds in America is like, the Kawasaki or like the Harley Davidson, like the big lowrider ones where you lean back and it's like, you gotta like hold onto the handlebars. Either that or like the sports ones where you have to lean forward and your legs are up, but then you're revving it real loud.
I call it like crotch rockets or something like that.
Yeah, those ones. Yeah. No. But like in Indonesia, the motorcycles I'm talking about was probably what you would call scooters.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. Okay. Or like, so you like sit like this and you're like, it's like
that might have to be a clip.
Yeah, absolutely.
That might have to be a TikTok or something.
So
it'd be pretty straightforward like that. Yeah.
He's pretty good at, he's been moving the screen around, placing his body. Yeah. He's Aditya, I kind of want to get back. I know he wanted to touch on that Indonesia.
Yeah, I want to get a little different lifestyle.
I really do want to know, like, if is that your desire to do romance movies? Like, is that your target?
Oh, I mean, for you mean like genres of movies, as in like that?
Yeah, or like you said you wanted to work for A24, I believe, and you said they do kind of romantic movies and stuff. Like, is that kind of the the way you want to go with your career?
Oh no. When I said A24, I didn't say romantic. I meant like artistic.
Oh, okay.
Earlier, yeah. But like they got like experimental artistic movies. If you've heard of the movie Men, have you heard of the movie Men that came out I think a few months ago?
No, I have not. I have to check it out.
Men is a horror movie. It follows this woman who's going to like I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard reviews that it was pretty okay. But I like the concept of it that like there's this one stalker guy who follows this girl, but while he's following this girl, every other man in the town just like has his face. So it's like that the scare. That's where the scare factor is. Like she'll be walking downtown and like she'll see like the guy who like appear behind a bus and it's like, "Can I help you, ma'am?" And it's that guy again.
Oh my gosh!
Like, it appears everywhere. And I mean, like just out of this world concepts like that.
Okay,
is what I want to be a part of. So and also just to go back on that. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go continue.
just to go back on that concept, I forgot to mention earlier, for the voice acting part, the company that I would love to work with personally is Riot Games. Personally, for
Okay.
So you would rather be into more of the video game side than movies and
blockbuster
TV shows
stuff.
and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, animation, you can't really count on animation either, because animations, they got a lot of fantastic stuff. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard of Arcane, the League of Legends show.
Yeah.
The voice acting in that is fantastic. And if you guys have played the game, the voice acting in that too, a lot of the characters, they got fantastic voice lines. So it's just like the tie-in between Riot Games, their shows, their animations, their games, is just like they just got a bunch of voice acting going on, and I'm like, I want to do that,
Yeah, dude, that's so. And again, I mentioned it earlier. I didn't even think about video games, dude. Think about it. How iconic is like Captain Price's voice from Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Like you can't replace that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like Joe Madden on Madden NFL. Like the commentator. Like there's so much. Oh my gosh, I never thought about jobs in that field, dude.
Video games.
You have us. You got the idea of life beat. Your idea of like going into different things is so cool and so adventurous.
Yeah, it's crazy because I've never had hung out with people or whatever that have thought about that career choice, which is really cool. This is exactly why we do this podcast, to have people on in all walks of life so we can learn and be more knowledgeable. I definitely caught myself. We were talking the other night and try to get in some ideas and had a little bit of meeting for the viewers. And we were just talking, and literally the last couple of days, and I was like, "Oh, that's voice acting. Oh, that's voice acting."
Yeah,
and it's just like it started clicking. I was like, "That's super cool. Learn something new every day."
I guess you do. So
exactly. It's like,
is there any specific character you wish you could take over right now?
Ooh, that is a tough one. Now, there are a lot of characters in especially animation and games that just they just bewilder me. I think I think I'll make a top 5 because I can name them
perfect
real quick. Okay,
go ahead.
So I think number 1 would be Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, dude, that's cool.
I've been playing it recently, and I hear now Dutch. He's like, I don't know about this plan, Dutch. Is like,
that was perfect. You nailed it. I about spit out my drink. I go to take a sip, and you hit that on perfect. I related that so much.
Okay,
please do it again.
Continue. I need to hear some more examples. Who's your second? Second?
I mean, for Arthur, he's. The second I would say is Ilawi from League of Legends.
Okay.
Ilawi, Kraken Priestess, super cool character, and I can never do accents really well, but the way her accent is it's just so powerful, and whenever she goes into attack, it's just fantastic. And it's there's so much power to it.
Yeah. Dude, you have passion for this stuff.
I'm still laughing at. Hey, Dutch.
Hey, Dutch.
That was one of the games though that I played as a kid, growing up.
No, so this is I'll give you a little backstory on this game, and I'm sorry I can't.
No,
you're
good.
At this point.
You're good.
So in college, we had this really creepy security guard, and he would super creepy. This seems completely off, but it relates back.
Okay.
So we had this super creepy security guard, and he would go around the campus, and he was always looking to try to catch people, be like, "Ooh, I got you! You're in trouble now!" Trying to catch him doing stuff. So I'm in my room, my college dorm room, and it's probably 10:30 at night, and I'm playing Red Dead Redemption. Okay, and so I'm sitting on the side of my twin bed with my cowboy hat, just raiding and pillaging,
with the cowboy hat on,
really embodying the character.
And so I'm swimming across the swamp, and a gator gets me, and so I screamed at TV. I was like, "Run, Arthur, run!" And then all of a sudden, this guy, we call him Creepy Mike, the security guard, comes pounding on my dorm room door, and I was like, "What? Who's pounding on my door at 10:30?" And I opened the door. He's like, "Hey, you got to keep it down." He pokes his head in. He goes, "Is that Red Dead Redemption?" And I was like, "Yeah, you want to play?" And he was like, Yeah, actually, I do. So I gave him the remote control, and he goes, I'm going to need that hat, too. And he sits down, and he starts playing Red Dead Redemption, and he doesn't leave my dorm room.
I know he even says like, I'm gonna need the hat too. Like he needs it. He needs.
Everybody's got to embody the character. That's crazy.
I would literally sit on the side of my bed and I'd be riding my horse across the plains and everything, and I'd be dun 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 dun.
Do you play a lot of Red Dead Redemption?
I'm playing it like right now. Like this past few weeks, I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2. That's why it's been on my mind so much.
That's
great. To it,
Yeah,
you know,
dude. I stumbled upon the original copy of like the first, like the Red Dead Redemption, but for the PS3 a long time ago in its pristine condition. Ooh. They charged me, dang, $50 for it for the first one, and it was like it was like 15 years old at that point.
I'd play it.
Yeah, I still have it. I still play it. Yeah, it's definitely a good one.
Damn.
What's your favorite video game?
Video game? Ooh, so much people ask this, and I'm like, I can't get it in my head. But I think off the top of my head right now, what I would say my favorite video game would be Ultra Kill. Now,
okay, this
goes back to my favorite voice actor, Gianni Matrigano, because he voices one of the bad guys in Ultra Kill, Gabriel.
Okay.
And it all ties in. I heard it from him and I played it and I was like, man, this game's hard. And I get into it and I'm like, oh my, I love this game. And I love the music. Oh my God. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like heavy metal breakcore, like intense, like gospel. It's like, it's all in. It's like, oh my God. It's like I'm in a heavy metal church every time I like play that game.
It's like screamo Christian music. Have you ever heard that before?
That makes me want to ask another question for you. Like, would you rather, embody, a good, the hero of a video game, like with your voice, or would you rather, take the dark path and be the villain? Yeah.
Now, contrary to my actual belief, when I play video games, it hurts me to be the bad guy. I don't know. I'm just like, I can't bring myself to do it. Like every time I'm going back to Red Dead Redemption, but like every time there's the option antagonize, I'm like, I don't want to press that. So I always press greet. I'm like, howdy, mister. Like I always do that. But it's like, but when I want to voice characters, voicing bad guys are always so like much more fantastic. This brings me back to the list. It's like Apex Legends, Mad Maggie. The only reason she's my main, the only reason I main her are because of her voice lines. And if you ask any of my friends, and if you ask them like, what is Aditya's favorite voice to do it? And then all of them would just be like, oh, Australian, New Zealander, easy. Just any New Zealander character or Australian character, I listen to it and I'm like, I love these voice lines. I love them.
I need to, can you give me an example?
Yeah, I mean, Mad Maggie's one of them. He's like, oh, what's
no, I'm saying like, can you do it for me?
He's thinking of a line.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's like, where we dropping, ladies? Where we dropping?
That's good. Yeah.
Either that or like in the games, like kia ora, what do we have here?
Yeah, that's good,
that's
man.
A really good accent,
dude. You were gonna be like.
So have you ever been to Australia? It being there from Indonesia.
I have been to Australia.
Oh, I'm jealous.
I was in this I was in this competition called the World Scholars Cup, and I was lucky enough to qualify to the World Championship debate competition. So that World Championship was actually in Australia, Melbourne, and so I spent 2 weeks there. I studied up on my stuff. It was a debate competition that was held. It was held all around the world. They came to Jakarta. They did the thing there. And they said I qualified. I went to Australia, practiced my stuff, competed there, and ended up winning 7th place out of 2,500 groups.
This guy,
dude, you keep on dropping all these bombs on us of all these accomplishments. Oh my gosh, man, our outline would have been like about all, like we would have touched on all these things. You are just like what else? What haven't you done, man? Honestly.
Oh, I haven't done a lot of things, but I will say another party story I like to go to is I'm sorry, this is a bit graphic, but pissed on the pyramids.
Seriously?
Really?
Like the legit, like Egypt ones?
Yes. So we were on a tour there, and the tour guide, I told her, I was like maybe 8 or 9. I told the tour guide, like, hey man, I need to pee. And then my mom was like, oh, my son needs to pee. Where does he go? And the tour guide goes, oh, just go around the corner of the pyramid. So I went around the corner of the pyramid and I'm just standing in the sand. Let's go. Okay. And we're out.
Like when you first said that, I was like,
it took me
like I'm imagining, like, you know, as a college student, I was like, oh, okay, like you piss on a pyramid, but it's like as a little kid story, like, yeah, I'm just gonna go around the corner. Like,
yeah, it's funny.
No one's gonna see me.
How many people could say they peed on the pyramids? You can. Yeah, we can.
I can. It's like
that's crazy.
Egypt too. I have pictures. Well, not pictures of me. Okay, not. I have pictures of me in Egypt, not me peeing on the pyramid. Let me just make that clear.
Then, like, where haven't you gone? You know, you've been to Australia, Egypt. You've been to the States. You're from Indonesia. Like, you know, any more cool countries you've traveled?
I have not been to Europe. Anywhere in Europe at all.
Okay. I want to make it there too one day. I really want to go.
Africa and South America. I've never been.
I thought Egypt was in Africa.
It is top, right?
It
is.
Maybe my geography's bad. Okay, never mind. My geography's bad. Okay.
I really want to travel to all these places. I'm so jealous.
Yeah. He's just like casually like, yeah, I've been to Australia and, you know,
and the
Egypt,
pyramids.
And, yeah, I just casually.
Have you been to Japan?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like traveling was been part of my life. I'm like, I'm not an avid traveler per se, but like I've been to a bunch of places, and I'm very glad to have had these opportunities too, because not a lot of people have these. I mean, cultural exchange in Japan, you know, stuff in Australia. I've been to Singapore multiple times. Well, Singapore is like an hour flight from Jakarta. So comparatively, I would say like a flight from Savannah to
probably from,
let's say,
like to us.
Yeah, to Florida. Yeah. So like it's going like from Savannah to Florida, I would say. So going to Singapore for an Indonesian is like, oh, I've been to Singapore. Oh, cool. You know?
Yeah. Man, that'd be like us being like, oh yeah, we went up to Savannah last weekend. I guess.
Yeah. That's the equivalent, I guess. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Man, I'm just, you know, we talked about it before in our last episode, actually. Like, if we could have a camera and travel the world for our jobs, we would. And you're beating us to it, man. You've checked off all these places that are like on my bucket list. I'm so jealous.
Big time.
It was like, oh, damn.
But, so we are closing in on our hour, you know, that we try to keep the show around. And, man, I wish that we could, like, go way longer, because you are full with stories. I can tell. But
I got more.
This next part of the show, Aditya, we do is our snap questions. You know, we do it with all our guests.
All right.
We have some, you know, marquee questions, and it kind of signifies the wrap up of the show, but it also helps us get, you know, a unique look at you outside of, you know, SCAD and your performing arts and your travel life. You know, cool. other things you're into. So our first question that we ask is one that we ask every guest. If you could have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, throughout the history of time, who would they be and why?
All right. So I've given this a bit of thought. Now, I think right now, if I were to have dinner with 3 people, I think one of them would definitely be, you know, Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Fantastic guy. Like, I'm glad he's still alive, and you know, maybe that chance will pop up someday. You never, fingers crossed.
Yeah, you never know.
Fingers crossed that chance will pop up someday.
Keep chasing your dreams.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, number 2, I think it would definitely just have to be say Notorious B.I.G.
Oh, okay.
Honestly.
Biggie, yeah. I actually just listened to a podcast today about his you know, the unfortunate circumstance of his passing. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I don't know, like listening to Biggie songs, and I'm like, damn, he's got some good bars here. He's got some good stuff. So I'm just like, it would be interesting to talk to him, you know? It'd be very fantastic to talk to him. And I think finally, for like the number 3, if I could have dinner, would be, this would sound a bit silly, but I think the Dalai Lama.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
I mean, like, I hear a lot about the Dalai Lama, and he had, to be fair, he doesn't hold much importance in my life. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But just like the interest of me talking to someone like that renowned and like that, wise. I guess I would say allegedly wise. I've never met the guy. I don't know if he's wise. So I'd like to, find that out. And it's like, that would be very interesting. Very interesting three pair of people, I would think.
Who was the Dalai Lama? Or I'm not aware of him.
You're
familiar.
You can explain it.
All right. So basically, the Dalai Lama is sort of, I don't know if I have the definition correct. I'll look it up just to be sure. But to my knowledge, the Dalai Lama is one of these famous monks, the famous Buddhist monks.
Oh, okay.
And they like go in generations. The first Dalai Lama, second, third, fourth.
Kind of like the priest of the Catholic Church. Like the head
yes.
priest.
Okay. So the highest spiritual leader and former head of the country of Tibet.
Okay.
Okay.
Very
So
cool.
it's so the Dalai Lama is like, he's kind of like this person that everyone sees. He's like the wisest person, generational, the idea of rebirth. So
that's
he's
cool.
a very wise person, I would say. And I would like to prove that.
Yeah.
So if I could, I'd take him to dinner and be like, hey, so tell me some of this wisdom, like
So it's very similar to like with Catholics, like the Pope.
I guess so. The Pope.
Very similar. Yeah. That's how I'm kind of relating to it.
That's a really unique three.
Yeah.
I guarantee nobody will ever say that again.
Yeah. Biggie and
the Dalai Lama and Biggie at the same table.
The same table, just chilling. They're just chilling.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, we've talked about all these different places that you've been. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live?
When I was a kid, if you asked me this question, I would have said America or Singapore. Because when I was a kid, I saw America and I was like, the whimsical nature of America. Wow, you got Disneyland. You got all these delicious sweets and foods. You got this, that. And then now that I've grown up, I've come to like America. But I realize now, if I could live anywhere, I wouldn't have it anywhere but Indonesia. Genuinely.
That's awesome.
Stay true to your roots. Exactly.
Yeah, it's my home and it's where I grew up in, and I love so much things about it. I wouldn't change it for the world, Well, there are a few things I would change, but as in, but if I could live anywhere in the world, genuinely, it'd be Indonesia. And of course, I'd like to travel to everywhere I can.
Like you already have.
At the end of the day, home to me is back in Indo.
I respect that.
Yeah, very cool.
I do.
Cool.
I do. All right.
Home is where the heart is.
Absolutely. Our third snap question for you tonight. What's your dream car, man?
Ooh. My friends just made fun of me for this. Literally last night. So hope you guys don't take it to heart. Now, a lot of people, they would say, oh, the Ferrari, the Bugatti, the Mercedes. Yeah. My dream car is the Honda Mobilio, which is a family car. And let me explain to you why. Explain to you why. Yeah, the Honda Mobilio is an extremely comfy car, and it is and it is the first car that I ever drove.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Okay. Keep going. So
he's gonna look it up. I haven't seen one. We're gonna wait and try to pull one up real quick.
Oh yeah. Basically, my family had this. I think it was red Honda Mobilio, and it's a very small car. It fits like, I would say 1, 2, maybe 5 people, and
a couple cousins.
People.
The whole family and a couple cousins.
Yeah, whole family, couple cousins in there. It's a family car, and it's the first car. Yeah, it's the first car I ever drove. Not only was it comfy, it felt good. I could drive it everywhere in the city. I could feel like comfy driving it. It's like a small car. I didn't have to worry about the edges, because in Indonesia, when you're driving, motorcycles left, right, forward, back. It's not like America. America, you have a lot of free reign everywhere. It feels like everywhere you got a bunch of space, in America.
Yeah.
In Indonesia, you're driving and you're just like, here, you have to pay attention, because like to your right, to your immediately left out the window, motorcycle right there, guy with a helmet on. To your right, guy with a helmet on, motorcycle. Behind you, motorcycle. And so the Mobilio is not just small, it's comfy to drive. The seats are fantastic, and I have a lot of good memories on it when I used to like drive people around. It was just
that's
fantastic
genuine.
car.
That is genuine.
It's very genuine.
Yes.
For our listeners, Please look that up.
Yeah, 100%.
I got a good laugh whenever, the question, we've gotten all different kinds of cool answers.
Square body Fords.
Yeah, retro.
Ferraris,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Retro vehicles, cool, unique vehicles. This vehicle is very similar to a minivan.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a minivan.
And so I just love this whole episode because it's so out there, something
it's
that
such
we
a different
haven't
perspective,
done.
though, too.
It's a whole nother perspective, and it's not something like we've ever done. And that's the whole reason why we do this.
I love it.
It's the whole reason why we do this show is to be able to get all different perspectives. But.
All right, you want to take the last question?
Someone call me lame for it, but
no, we love it, dude.
No,
we love it.
It's a good car.
It fits. Don't take this the wrong way, but it fits your personality. You're just you think
genuine,
outside the box, and it's you don't follow the mainstream vibe. I guess
I love it. I do love it.
Exactly.
And that's what we want to highlight here.
Yeah. So our last question for you tonight, Aditya. If somebody gave you $100,000, in today's world, it's not absolutely life-changing, but it's significant enough to be able to do something with, or help you out a lot.
Oh yeah.
So if we gave you $100,000, what would you do with that money?
$100,000. Now immediately, I would spare some for myself because, of course, with $100,000, I get to use it for a bit of pleasure. Yeah. So I would say I would spare at least maybe $10,000 for myself, just 10,000 out of that 100,000 for myself. I can use it on whatever I want, games or clothes or new shoes,
whatever you want.
New computer. All that, all that stuff, all that pleasure stuff. But I think the rest of the 90,000, not only would I put it into my college, but I try to give back to my family back home because they're the ones who got me here, and I truly respect them a lot. So I think what I would do is genuinely just buy my grandmother something nice, buy my dad something nice, treat them out to dinner. And with the rest of the 90,000, I'd invest in a house maybe, or well, I don't know if 90,000. Yeah. I don't know if 90,000 gets you a house per se.
It could be a nice down payment. It's a nice down payment.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice down payment, and it'll help out my family a lot. Just for reference, $1 American is, I think, 15,000 rupiah, which is our currency. Man. $1 is 15,000. With 15,000, I could probably buy a Kit Kat and a bottle of water.
Okay. That's cool.
I buy a Kit Kat bar and a bottle of water. With 15,000, I could be out of there. And for a meal in McDonald's, I would say that would cost 50,000 if you're buying the right stuff and you don't want to waste too much money.
That's crazy to think that.
So for instance, if you were to buy a car in Indonesia, you're talking 10 million.
Up to the 100 millions.
Oh my gosh.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's to put our numbers spectrum into y'all's and the currency. It's
it's insane.
Yeah, you got a lot of high numbers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. We do have a lot of high numbers, and I tell this to everyone is what? Huh?
Yeah.
They'll ask me where my bag is from, and I'm like, oh, my bag is 300,000, and then I follow it up. I follow it up with the equivalent of that is, I would say, $20.
Nice. Well, Aditya, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on tonight. I got to send a thank you card to those art students that, pointed me in your direction. You are exactly the kind of guest that we want to embody on the show. You are genuine, you are driven, you're not afraid to take any risk, and you're true to yourself and personality. And I just cannot believe we found such a perfect guest to kick off our 2023 campaign, partner.
100%, and we've had a blast. This episode has gone in so many different directions, which I loved because we talked about video games, we talked about voice acting, we talked about Egypt, pyramids,
seems like
Australia.
everything.
Yeah, just hit on a lot of stuff, and it's very cool to just get your story. You're a very interesting guy, man. Honestly,
yes.
And I appreciate that. I try my best.
You better stay in touch with us, man, because we know we can see it in you. You're going to do big things, and I just can't wait till one day, look online. I'm gonna keep on my tabs on Indonesia films because I guarantee he's gonna be on the front page of one day.
Amen. Amen.
Well, one cool thing we do at the end of every episode is we follow back each one of our guests on Instagram. So if Aditya, if you have an Instagram, I'm not sure if you do.
He does.
Yeah,
I got it.
I'll get it
Yes,
from
I
Brian,
do.
and then we'll follow you on Instagram. So if anybody is interested in Aditya and want to look more into his story, you can follow him on Instagram, and that'll be in our following list. And that is Rule, the number 1 podcast. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube,
you
just
name
about
it.
anything you can think of. So, guys, don't forget,
Yes.
Saturday, we're doing the barbecue competition in Lake Wales. It's on the lake, and we're looking forward to
10, 8, or 11 to 12:30. Come out. We're going to be doing a live interview. Coop nights, first and third Fridays of every month. We cannot wait to throw on our next one after the first night was such a success. Yeah. Aditya, thank you so much, man.
Of course, I'm very happy to be here. If you don't mind, you mind if I shout some people out?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
All right. I mean, of course, like I said, my Instagram, you can contact me for there if you have any interest at DEAFADITYA. And of course, can't go throughout a podcast without shouting my 2 friends, Liam Riza. He makes fantastic music. He just won an award recently in Indonesia. Best new rap/hip hop duo. He won the AMI Award, and I'm very proud of him. You should listen to his music.
Yes.
Fantastic music.
I'm going to try him. I'm going to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, his music is he goes by the term Living Room with his brother and his new song Stars, which I think released a few months ago. You all should listen to it. Fantastic song.
Yeah.
I like to shout out my friend too, Tefka. He's going to La Salle right now in Singapore, and he needs some help with his new film. He's a dramatic writing major, and he's making a new film. And I really want to help him out. So if you want to donate to him, I mean, after this, I could give you guys some of the contacts, but his Instagram is TEVKAHAIZA. You'll find him there, and you can donate however much you want to help him out for his film.
Absolutely.
I really want to support my friends here.
Yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
That's what we're here. We're here to, supply a platform to all of our guests. Well, Aditya, thank you so much, man. But that's been another great episode of the Rule 1 podcast.
Another person, another journey.
Yeah, man.
So, thank you.
All right, guys. Until next week, it's the Rule 1 podcast. We're out.